Hello, my front-end friend. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Rather than learning how to do things with CSS, we're instead judging people's CSS and performance and accessibility and other stuff with a Formula One team website showdown, which I think is gonna be fun. I'm a huge F1 fan. I've been going to Formula One races since I was a kid. I used to live in Montreal and I was privileged enough to go through my youth until the prices became like the price of a small mortgage to attend. And yeah, we're gonna be diving in here and we're gonna be judging on 4 categories. We have design, performance, accessibility, and CSS. Design is very much going to be subjective, whereas the other ones, we're going to be doing those in cold hard facts. And each one of these will be a round that is going to be using the Formula One point system for each team, where first place gets 25 points all the way down to 0 for last place. So it sort of works out. There's 11 teams. Usually this is for like the driver standings, but it works fine for us. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Each one of these will count, as I said, as a round in the championship, and we'll add it all up at the end and see who wins the website showdown. And we're going to be starting with design, where let's see, what am I looking for? We're looking at the visual appeal, the brand fit, the user experience, and wow factor definitely gets bonus points. And I'm just going to rank them according to like which one I like the best, basically. Yeah, we're going to dive in, just take them in order that they're here, I guess. I did poke around in these a little bit just to make sure this idea would work. They all have websites, so that's a good start. And here is McLaren's, which we'll say is a bit of a letdown. This feels very templatey. One of the things I'm expecting from a Formula One team is to have something cool, right? There should be like a cool factor, especially McLaren like has so much money they put into like, you know, they have their papaya that they bombard. Actually, you know, I will even say like for something that's like so big on papaya, we have white, black, and then like orange background is the only reason there's much of this orange that's on here. I'm disappointed by this. This is like a WordPress I'm not saying it is WordPress. There's nothing too fancy. At least we had some like animations there as things were going in. This arrow moves. This one goes up and this one goes sideways. That's kind of confusing. I don't know why they're different, but whatever. The buttons, ooh, that's kind of cool. Okay, we have something there at least. I was going to comment on the buttons. At least they're not squares. They have like a shape to them. But like, why don't maybe the images could have had that? I feel like that's like the sort of design thing you can put in other places. Yeah, I mean, this feels very just something you'd get from one of those template websites, to be honest. I think some websites are going to have a lot more than others. So I do want to see, like, this is our lineup. Okay, let's just look at one of the drivers then. I just want to look at like a second page to get a bit of an idea. So we have like a little animation. I'm not a huge fan of animations like that, but it's not, at least it doesn't like leave and then come back in. Not everything has it. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I think that gives us an idea of what's happening here. This is, I mean, whatever, this is fine, I guess, but it's kind of boring. It's something. That's our first entry. They're still in first for now. I'm expecting Red Bull's website to be better. I think of McLaren, as I said, like they do seem to care about their brand, but Red Bull is like, if anything, maybe I expect Red Bull's to be the one that actually has the most money put into their website. So let's see. Hopefully expectations don't hurt. We're gonna have lots of cookie banners, aren't we? So right away, I like it more. I was talking about the brand is part of it. The McLaren one, it had the orange, but it felt like it was just like, okay, we're gonna add it in some pictures and make our buttons orange. Whereas this feels more Red Bull, just the background color being there, the red buttons fit with it as the highlight in there. This feels a lot more like the team. This is already like, okay, that's kind of neat. I like that. I was hoping for like some sort of hover. Oh, we got something. I don't know why. That's kind of confusing. If I click, they move. Just because they can, I guess. That's an interesting choice. But sure. The car, say like, this is much nicer than like, here's a section, here's a box, like whatever. This is an image. You can see like the shadows getting cut off, but we can go through the different cars too, through the different generations. A little bit more consistency here. You can see they're very changed. Like this one's way too big compared to that one. The car didn't grow that much and then shrink back down. So like a little bit more consistency would be nice there, but at least like this is a nice little touch. The drivers for each year, more details. What's that give us? See, I like these effects. Even I'm not a huge fan of them. I've done YouTube videos on them. But already, this I don't love. I'm assuming it would be like a swipe. It probably works a lot better on mobile, actually. It's so spread out on desktop too. But at least like there's, yeah, okay. Let's just go to team because I said I want to look at the team page just to see. See the reds coming back in. They have this weird thing here again. I'm not a huge fan of this. Again, this feels much more like it's a mobile thing that wasn't really optimized. Does anyone want to join a Formula One team? They have some jobs if you want to become a member. Okay, I think I've seen enough. I don't want to deep dive these too much because the other ones are going to go a bit faster since we're just going to be doing some hard data. But Red Bull definitely pulls ahead of McLaren. Ferrari, I'm very curious. I'm hoping for something good, but you never know with Ferrari. Let's see what they give us. A loading screen. Not a good first impression. It wasn't too long, but it was there. Let's reject optional cookies. Okay, a full page carousel to start with is not my favorite. It is nice having like a big car like this. You go to a Formula One page, you're expecting to see a car. So that's okay, but just a full page carousel, user experience, not the best start to things. Okay, a little animation there. This is weird. Look, when I hover on Charles and here Lewis, they get bigger for really slowly, which is strange. And when I hover off, it just disappears. This is just badly written CSS. Wow, that's weird. Like, are they just why is it growing? When you hover on something, you're expecting like a feedback, but not that type of feedback. I've never seen anything that does something like this. And this is like a multi-billion-dollar company. Hundreds of millions at the very least. I would expect better. Like, this is one of those things where they definitely could have done better. Look, they even have it on these. All of them have it. They have the transition on the hover, but they don't have the transition on. Can I tab through? Skip to content, oh my goodness. So they have skipping stuff. Sorry, I didn't do this on the other websites. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what's happening now. That was weird. Okay, so I was just curious if I could tab onto something here and things went crazy. We're going to be doing accessibility talk in a little bit. So yeah, this is a really weird effect. It looks nicer than McLaren's website. It looks less boilerplatey of these full screen areas. The next race is in 11 days, which makes sense from when I'm recording this. So here's the races. Discover the track. How do I click and drag. So once again, this is something that would be good on mobile, but desktop, this is weird because there's nothing there's no hand grab or anything to actually show that I can click and drag on that, which is kind of weird. And then this would be cool if it faded in, right? We have black, and then we just get to this. A fade in would be nice there. I like their website better than McLaren's, which just feels like they got it out of a box. Let's just click on, we'll go on Charles and see. Once again, every page we go to, it needs like a load, which is kind of weird. This would be better on the homepage. Video like this can be heavy, which sucks. So maybe, you have the load to preload it or whatever. But this is better than a carousel, right? Having that, I don't love it, but it's better than a carousel. It makes like the team Ferrari, you're learning about Formula One cars and you just get this like cool video of the cars going by or something. It would make a lot more sense. This page is already better than the McLaren one as well, which was like super generic, just some text. They're trying to find a cool way to present some information, some animations on that, which are fine. That's an interesting scroll-driven animation here we go again. Okay, let's just click. Oh no. This is like a PDF or something. They had something made for a magazine that they're just linking to here with some, I can't select the text or anything. Oh, that deducts points. That's terrible. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on these. I have to remember that. I'm still putting them ahead of McLaren. I really am not impressed by McLaren's website, just being as generic as it was. That let me down. Ferrari's has stuff going wrong with it, but at least it looks good, which sounds a lot like a Ferrari. Let's go over to Mercedes next. Mercedes, I'm expecting it to be a bit like the McLaren one, like not that, they're not flashy. Already it feels more like the team. The colors are here, looks kind of nice. The other one had the countdown to the race. They're doing countdown till the next practice. Cool. Not that it matters, but their junior team uses bright green apparently, which is super weird and doesn't fit, but I guess that's part of their team coloring for some reason, so I can't do anything about that. So this already makes me think a little like it's like the McLaren site almost, right? It has these buttons that have a corner that's cut and a hover effect that's super, super, super similar. Just to show you, like, this is how it should work. Remember the Ferrari one where the picture was getting bigger and then would snap smaller? This is what you'd expect. Maybe not. The timing of the image should probably be different from that. That bugs me a little bit, but whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't really think we need, I guess it's just we're already getting feedback here. I don't know if we need the image, but just to say, like, it hovers, it transitions both directions. That's what it should be doing. I find it weird, the images of Kimi. This one looks like it's been like AI processed to make him look even younger. Not that he needs that. He's young enough. Kind of strange, but okay. Okay, I sort of like it. Articles, lots of articles apparently. Let's go see if we can find team page. That's okay. I don't mind that. I think menus, we need more stuff like this. It's a little bit slow. It blocks what I'm doing, then comes in. I sort of want immediate ability to do something. Let's go to the drivers because we've been looking at that, or even that. That's kind of cool with like this mega menu. If you're going to do it, that like you get a different image on each one. I don't mind that actually. Again, I'm looking for uniqueness a little bit in some of these. We have the drivers. Let's just click on George here. See, look, already better than the McLaren one. McLaren, like, it's something custom. It's scroll jacking. They're losing points for scroll. Like, if I scroll a little bit, it just goes to the next section. Scroll jack. That was a weird transition. Let's try that again. Scroll. Okay, it's because of the scroll jacking that it was kind of weird before. I think I fought with it a little bit. They really are telling a story here through, like, if you want to learn about your driver, which is different. How, like, this is neat. This is what you'd expect on a page, not what I saw on the McLaren one. I have to decide if I like this better than the Ferrari one. There are certain aspects I don't and certain aspects I do. I think overall it's better. There's no giant carousel at the top. That's a win. The hover effects are better. That's a win. The driver pages I think were better. We don't have that weird PDF thing. So Mercedes is going to go above Ferrari but below Red Bull, because Red Bull, so far Red Bull's winning. Aston Martin, I'm expecting the site to be really nice, just because the flashy, the owner of the team would probably go to the site and be like, this isn't good enough, and they'd spend more time on that than trying to actually make a good car. Apparently, from my preseason has been going, they want to send me notifications. That's minus 1,000 points. We are going to block that. No cookie banner though. Oh, it's down here at the bottom with the only option being accept. That's kind of weird. So not what I expected on landing here. It's really weird because I see the title of the Academy livery has been revealed, which is fine. It's probably the latest news thing that's here, but I have to scroll. I'm expecting this to be a link. Oh, it's behind the cookie banner to discover more, which I have to accept apparently. So I'm just curious if I click that. Ooh, that loading screen didn't bother me though. I like that it's animated through the process. It sort of makes it like a interesting, let's hit back button. Even with pushing my back button, are they using view transitions? I'd be very curious. They're probably not. They're probably doing a very heavy-handed approach there. This is not what I expected. This is weird. Train like an F1 driver. Like that, I'd expect a little bit more. The video, like I mentioned at the very top. Obviously, this is just like their latest news articles. It's just like an article site. That's all we're getting is articles, which is really strange. Okay, we finally get down to some other stuff down here. Their colors are coming in a little bit too much maybe, but I was wanting that. It does feel like their brand at least. Like I get that. Let's just go see. That's kind of an interesting one. Again, I wish this was a little bit snappier. So I wanted to find the about. Nope, I don't want to member racing. Okay, we'll just go to Lance, I guess, and see what we get. There's Lance, what you'd expect. Okay, this isn't terrible. This font size is kind of small. Read bio, that is bad. Oh my goodness. Nobody's reading that. The font is kind of awkward. The font size is ridiculous. There's no spacing between the paragraphs. The line height is, okay, not fantastic. Sort of like that. Did that animate in? Yeah, I sort of don't mind that. It's not waiting for me to scroll. It just sort of gives a little visual thing. We're not doing too much stuff. This feels like they tried, but they didn't really do fantastic. I'm not in love with it, but it's the homepage is terrible. Just like like these full page article things, and then this hiding behind the cookie banner. I am going to rank them after Ferrari. Ferrari had more, like a few things I didn't like, but there was just too many things in that Aston Martin one. That bio was terrible. The homepage is kind of confusing. When I get there, I'm like, I don't get it. And you start scrolling and you still don't really get it at first. And then you realize it's articles and that's not what you're looking for. The navigation menu's kind of small. Then you can eventually find what you want. McLaren, I'm still like, it just felt like I could go to a template website and buy that. So I'm not going to rank it very high. Alpine could go really anywhere. I don't know what to expect from Alpine at all. Okay, I guess. We got the square cut corners, which fair. It's fine. It's clear what happened in the first part. Oop, I didn't mean to click on that. See, at least here I can click on it. I see the title I can click. I don't have to find this little tiny button on the bottom left below a cookie banner. No cookie banner here, which is interesting. It's a carousel, but it's less annoying of a carousel, maybe? No, it's still a carousel. I don't like it. I didn't realize that at first. I don't know if I like these buttons or not, but they're fine. Here's how the hover effect should work. I have a button that can do something. The entire thing is clickable, but I get more feedback if I'm here, which is okay, whatever. But this is what I would have expected from Ferrari. The one on Mercedes was getting better. This is the right one, where it like comes in, the speed of the easiness, the easing is much better. This is what I'd expect. Why are all the websites doing this, by the way? This is like the 4th team out of the 6 we've looked at, and I probably missed it on one of the other ones. It's a little bit much. Like, this is one of those cool things. If you have it once, it's fine. But then when you have it everywhere, you're like, oh my goodness. Plus, like, oh, I guess we're looking at the shirt here, not the person. I was going to say it's weird we cut their head off. It is a lot here, but you can quickly find I was going to say you can quickly find what you want, but because it's mostly image and you're like, sign up. What am I even signing up for? I don't know. Unlock, behind the scenes, wallpapers. You can get what you want. It looks kind of cool. So I part of it is the cool stuff of it. Drivers, let's see their driver page. When I'm here, let's go check on Pierre. So this is still a weird font choice for me. It's hard to read, but it's bigger and we have paragraph spacing. So it's ahead on that. This is fine. If you're gonna do a carousel, this is where you can do a carousel with some images that are coming in or something. That's fine. I'm not sure. The animation there was kind of interesting. I'm not sure I love just how big these are. Again, this feels like maybe it works better on mobile. I don't know. I'm not doing mobile testing. I guess I should, but I feel like this video would become way too long. It's probably already too long where we are now. This is actually a hard one because I'm not sure where to fit them in. It's kind of templatey, but done in a better way. Like, they bought a better template than McLaren did. So I have to decide, is Alpine above? I'm going to put them above Aston Martin, and I have to decide if they're going above Ferrari. Ferrari was more unique. Alpine had less problems branding wise. I'm going to leave it like this for now. Let's go check out Haas. Haas, it's an American company. I'm kind of expecting nice things. Deny. This image is still loading, by the way. I'm on like a plugged in, I'm not on wireless or anything. This is fast, high-speed internet. That image took forever to load. I have to look. Sorry. That took so long to load. How big is this image? 1.7 megabytes. Rendered size. That's insane. Okay. We're not doing performance stuff now. Sorry. But that distracted me a bit. So yeah, we have a template that was bought that's worse than McLaren's, apparently. This is, if you go into like a template website and you look up news website, this is what you would find as one of the templates. Again, sort of a weird carousel where it's the same image for all of them, which is kind of interesting. We have the logo twice for some reason. I'm not sure why. This one you can't click on. This is just an image that's like floating here because why not? Whereas here you can click on it and who knows where that goes. The drivers, so we can get to the drivers, but that like it's so busy with all of these images, and yeah, I'm not impressed. Let's go look at Esteban here. Esteban, apparently. Esteban. It's fine. This feels again like the McLaren one in a way, but okay, we won't spend time here. Haas is in last place. I think they're going to keep last place there. Hopefully they're not in last. I don't think they'll be last on the season. Racing Bulls. Question, will Racing Bulls be a nicer site than Red Bull? I'm assuming once again they're going to be highly ranked, but probably like the Red Bull, they get less than, there's less money being put into it. Somebody didn't pay as much attention to it. So I'm guessing it'd be top 5, but not as good as the Red Bull. So let's see. Okay, actually, not bad. And actually, sometimes with their like liveries and other stuff, they do a little bit more like wild stuff. So maybe not wild, but interesting things, I should say. So maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I sort of already like this hero area, just with the text that's like offset a little bit. It looks kind of weird in a way. We have a textured background that you don't see too often these days. That looks fine. One thing that's bugging me here is the alignment is a little bit different. Like this doesn't line up with this, which I'm not sure why. They're offset. There's like using grid and they have an empty div there or something. I'm not sure. This is clear. I can get, the driver standings right away. So if you get there, the 0 is really strange looking because it's the standings. No, I'm assuming that will eventually be their points. Okay, even like the offset here, we have the hover effect again. They did it correctly. Bonus points. Or not bonus, I guess like more deduction from Ferrari, who's the only team who did it and did it incorrectly. That's like the opposite of their rear wing right now, right? That weird rear wing they have where maybe they're the only ones who did it differently, but maybe it worked. Where the website, it definitely doesn't. These types of cards, though, I can get behind. Like the Haas one, first of all, there was so much. Like here we have less stuff. I can know what I'm looking at much easier. I'm not being overwhelmed. Ooh, I do not like that. I do have to check something here. I'm going to open up my DevTools, prefers reduced. And I just want to see, so we're preferring reduced motion, and I still have that weird effect going on. You don't want to do that. Having scroll-driven stuff that goes this way being linked to scrolling up and down for people that have vestibular orders, that can really not, for me even, I just find it super distracting. I don't like it, but it can literally make people who don't like this can, I'm going to stop doing it now actually, because someone might be watching the video going like, I can't look at this. It can cause actual like nausea and vertigo and stuff. So you don't want to do that. Interestingly, these cards make me think a little bit of those cards on the Red Bull site, because they had that. The Red Bull ones actually look more like a card you'd get, whereas here it's just showing the drivers. Still looks pretty cool. I am going to have to scroll a little bit here. Apologies. I was expecting these to be able to be clicked on. I can't. Here's the car. Like, this is what a Formula One website should be, right? Like drivers' cars. Here's some interesting stories. Very clean design. Looks good. Don't know why. Oh, that's to sign up for their newsletter. They want like your favorite driver name. You have to pick there. I was like, do you think you can pick anybody? Okay. Sign up for the newsletter, get their merch. That's fine. Let's go to the garage where nope. Don't want that. Menu. Team. Oh, we got this effect going on again. There's a few team. The second or third time we have that. There's the drivers. So we're going to do a view profile. They got that effect going on again here. This is weird. Read more. What's that do? Nothing, apparently. That was weird. I feel like there's somebody, this is like a CMS and they double spaced it, but then the double spacing like brought in empty paragraphs or something. It doesn't even, I don't know. Who knows what happened there, but this is weird with the double spacing. And you get to the other drivers, which is good. It's kind of cool. This makes me think the Red Bull one actually, it was like sliding across to get to the different people. I don't love carousels, but this one feels like it works better. Again, the other one swiping I think would be nice. On desktop, this works kind of cool. I like that. As far as like that type of effect goes. Okay, not bad. There's a few weird things, and like here it can be hard to read some text. I'm not going to get too picky because I'm trying to do like surface level on this. I'm going to say that they are second. That feels right for me. Okay, next up is Williams. Williams probably middle of the pack-ish, right? Another carousel at the top. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This is minus a lot. No, I'm not downloading your wallpapers from my phone. Oh my goodness. Don't do this, guys. Just don't. Oh my goodness. So giant carousel at the top that auto plays, which is annoying. Again, it's just this little link. This is very Aston Martin-esque in a way, but it's worse than the Aston Martin one because it's a carousel instead of me just scrolling to get to where I want to. They have an ad on their website, which made it even better. It's been removed. I'm not running an ad block on here. It just didn't load the ad. You're a Formula One team. You should not be putting ads on your website. This is a tough one for me because this feels very templatey too, but they've taken the time to set the template up to fit their brand decently. Like this feels more on brand than the other very templatey ones have felt. I mean, all of them are, I don't know if any of them are really bespoke, but Heritage Leadership Team, how do I get to their drivers? I think we saw something before. Maybe? I don't know how to find out about their F1. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was just on the wrong drop-down menu. Let's go to Carlos and check him out. See this? Okay, this isn't terrible. This is definitely like, this makes me feel a little bit like the McLaren one, but better. So that's exactly where they will be ranked. They are, out of all the template websites, they're the best. And I don't know if they should go above. I think they're actually going to go above Aston Martin. Aston Martin had the brand feel, but there was some weird stuff in there that I really didn't like. And so yeah, Williams is like top of the template ones. Even the Aston Martin one was probably some sort of, again, they might all be. Only two left, and it's the two new teams. So do we expect really good things from them, or are they just like, again, like throw a template in? Cadillac, I'm sort of expecting a lot. They did like a Super Bowl ad. They're trying to like make themselves out there and let's go. So I am expecting a lot. Audi, I'm expecting a template website for some reason. Let's see what we get. Oh, we have a video, a nice big cookie banner right at the beginning that not only is a cookie banner, but it also fades the site away. This video in the back is either weird or struggling to load. I'm not sure which one it is. It keeps pausing at weird times. I think that just might be the way the video has been done because we're looping through. Okay, it's just a weird video. I do not like this as a start. It's their shopping is the first thing we're seeing. So I guess if someone's visiting their website, they just want you to buy their merch, which I guess with their Adidas link up, that maybe makes sense, but it's not why people are going to your website. Like the marketing web team got this and it's like, okay, our website exists to do this. I don't know why anybody even needs the website, to be honest, other than that. So maybe they're right. Some articles, I don't think they should have this much video going. I feel like this is a really heavy website. We're going to see that when we get to the performance stuff. This is a lot of video be playing at once. I'm overwhelmed, right? Maybe the Gen Alphas out there are watching this and it's completely fine. This many things all going at once, fighting for my attention. I do not like at all. I just feel like there's too much. Like another video, everything is video. Go, 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 go. This is nice. This is what I expect. I'm not a huge fan of their livery. This is probably the way I like it the most. Their highlights like this, like on the side, just that straight line, kind of boring. I sort of like the highlights when it's head on. This should have been the landing page, right? Or the hero area. Get there. Here's our car. We're amazing. Now go buy our merch, right? Get excited. Then maybe someone might want to buy something. And they have like an explore the car. We're not going to do that. I would like to check it out. Let's try meet the team though, because we're going to look at the team pages. Again, I don't mind one video. It's not great, kind of shaky camera. It's trying to be kind of cool, but I get it. They have a vibe going for sure. So the branding, that side of things is pretty good. Let's go check out Nico here. That's awkward. I thought that would give me a bio, but instead it's a image and I can still scroll the page when it's opened behind it, which is super easy to prevent. So kind of strange. And even like the X is awkwardly placed. That is a choice. I was expecting to get more. This is going to be a hard one to rank. Okay. Oh, this is a really hard one to rank because I was really annoyed by those videos. I have to put it above Haas just because I feel like Haas didn't even try. I feel like McLaren barely tried. At least Audi tried. They tried too hard, I think was the problem. I'm putting them in 8th. I think their site's nicer than the Aston Martin one. The lack of any information on the drivers was kind of weird. It was a nicer site. They both fit the branding pretty good, but their major deductions for the Williams too, they had that pop up. I'm going to leave them there though. But yeah, all the video there, I can't do that. Okay, last team, Cadillac. Again, I'm expecting something really good here. Hopefully expectations. I'm wondering here if they can actually challenge Red Bull. Not off to a great start, but it's an experience, I guess. I saw there was like the loading thing in the corner. We care about your privacy. Like we've seen a lot of cookie banners up until now. The ones where you have to like, you don't really get to see anything on the site and you have to make a decision are kind of annoying. I get you might have to do it for legal reasons, but just it ruins the experience a little bit. A little bit of what I was expecting. Like here, first of all, not auto playing. Thank you. We have a video. It's going to be pretty cool. We have some cars on the screen. That's what I came here to see, was an F1 car. And then if you want, you can play this video instead of just being their ad, I guess. But yeah, that's fine. Okay. So then even here, look at that. The navigation comes in. We get some branding-ish style. That's kind of an interesting navigation. We get the sort of the logo-y style. It's also, at first I didn't get the two-tone car, but then looking at the Cadillac car, like it is these interlocking white and black things that are asymmetrical. So I don't love the livery, but it makes sense. Over the top scroll-driven animations. Oh no. Oh no, I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down. I'm still scrolling down. I'm still scrolling down. When are we going to go the other way? When do we get to scroll down? There we go. And then we get this. Okay. Never, ever, ever do this, please. And even like at the end of this, there's like a timing function on the scrolling or something, because I'm scrolling just as fast and it's getting slower and slower. And I'm like, I just want to keep going. I don't want to look at these pictures. Give someone the option to look at the pictures. Don't force them. This isn't an experience at this point. If there was storytelling or information coming from this, sure. But if this is like, no, this is really bad. Okay. And I was expecting to actually see something about the drivers. Calendar, news, partner, store. I can't even these pictures I can't click on. That's it. I guess we got more. Maybe there's something here. Let's just look really quickly. Careers, then there's the icons. Can I find out about them? Not really. Okay. So we don't really have too much information on them. Okay, this is a bit much too. Like, you don't need this effect on every single thing. Like, we're getting this everywhere, right? Like, a couple little sprinkles of it feels cool. You have to bring it up in more than one place so it feels like you have it linked in through the rest of everything you're doing. But when you start throwing these things everywhere, you're just like, okay, I get it. You have this interesting effect. This one I love. This is cool. That like it's pure branding. It goes well. They only did it one other time all the way at the top. Super cool little like thing that just makes a website not feel like a lame template, right? So yeah, like I appreciate that. I wanted to just see really fast. We don't have the hover effect. I'm disappointed a little bit that not every one of them tried to do something with that. This one's also hard to rank. It's definitely going to go above Audi. I have to decide if it goes above Aston Martin. Ferrari did something really bad too, in that they had the page about the driver being like that weird side-scrolling thing, but they weren't scroll jacking to do it and forcing me to scroll through that to get lower into the website. I don't know. This is a hard one for me. This is I could feel like putting them last in a way because of that one thing. I'm going to give them a little bit of like leeway on that one. Maybe someone's listening on the team and can fix it, please. Probably not, but you never know. This is really hard for me. I don't know. If I ignored that completely, I'd probably put them in 6th above Williams. They didn't have a team page. I'm going to ignore that though. Just everything else, I would maybe even 5th, maybe even above Ferrari, to be honest. Ferrari had some weird stuff on their page. I think if it wasn't for that, I would put them in 4th. But because of that, I'm going to put them in 7th, I guess. It's not a huge point difference, 7th, 8th. Like, we're getting into a really mushy middle here, which is generally how the midfield works anyway. This is what I did. I'm committed. This is the ranking I'm giving them. So we're going to hit save ranking. That is now saved. We can go to our standings. And this is our current standings. Red Bull is winning the championship, which, yeah, there we go. Haas down in last place. Let's see how things go from here. And as I said, everything from this point on is not subjective. I'm going to be running performance tests and accessibility tests and CSS tests on all of them. I'm going to hit run performance test now. This takes a while to run. I'll edit it out, but as it's running, I will come in with like to talk about how the score was calculated. I also have like demo data that we don't have to worry about. That was for my own testing purposes. So let's run performance test. And as this is loading in, how is it calculated? So score of 0 to 1 by Google Lighthouse. You'd expect Formula One page websites to be fast. After being on them, I think they're all going to do pretty bad. I'm curious how they do. But yeah, we have first contentful paint, which is how long it takes for content to actually appear on the page, the speed index, how quickly content is visually displayed. We have the largest contentful tape. That's like the main area. So maybe you have lower stuff down that's taking a while to load, but as long as the main area has been painted on the page, for the user experience, that's fine, which is why it's 25% of the score. Total blocking time is 30% because sometimes the page will load, but you can't do anything yet. And it's because like the JavaScript's still going. There's these other things that are, the processes are still running. So while you can see things, you try and open the menu and nothing happens. The cooking websites are the worst for this, right? It's like the skip to recipe button is right there because you don't want to read the blog post and you're clicking on it on your phone and it just doesn't do anything. And you have to wait like 10 seconds. I've been on some really bad ones. I do lots of cooking and you're clicking and you just start scrolling yourself, but then you're halfway done scrolling and it registers that click and it's a disaster. So yeah, that's the blocking time. And the cumulative layout shift is visual stability because sometimes the page will load and then other stuff is loading in and things start moving around. So a different font comes in and it changes the text and that changes the layout. So I'm sure you've been on the same thing. You're in the middle of reading something and the font changes. So the word you were looking at just like shifted over somewhere else. And that can be very frustrating. So a lot of point scores go to this. When is the main content ready? Can I interact with the page? And is there any shifting happening once the other stuff is actually in place? All right, so the first one is completely done. Let's see how it went. Performance results. Alpine in first. Oh my goodness, let's go this a little slower. We saw a few of them there. We got Alpine coming in first. I want to make sure, yeah, my head isn't on top of anything here. Average score of 88. I will say that's not actually bad. We also have the mobile and desktop because Lighthouse does test both of them. The mobile will always be lower because the devices are not as powerful. Alpine 88 for a big website with the amount of stuff going on there. I mean, ideally 100, but you won't find many big company websites that actually hit that. So I will say 88, not bad. Audi coming in with an 86, which is quite good. That's a pretty big discrepancy on the desktop to mobile though. Racing Bull's next, 69. And I see some red ones coming in already. So this is going to be a disaster in performance, which doesn't surprise me too much, to be honest. Mercedes coming in. They're 84 on desktop and a 47 on mobile. That's wild to me. I'm curious to dive in more there. Red Bull next. I'm surprised. I guess they're kind of, this is really like the regular race, right? The front runners are out in front and then the mid pack here. And I'm curious who if there's going to be a tail end Charlie or if it's going to just be a tight one all the way here. We're dropping off. McLaren. Okay. McLaren not only had a cookie cutter generic website, but we're at 55. And I also realized we haven't seen Haas yet. We sort of, I guess, knew that Haas would be bad with that terrible image that was coming in. So not too surprised. Just if you're going to use a cookie cutter website though, like I'm surprised whatever CMS they're using, we didn't look, but you'd think there'd be some sort of optimizations going on. Cadillac in 8th even Audi doing good. So they did something good with their video, I guess, because Audi had tons of video going on. So I'm actually impressed with whatever they did. Good compression. They might have had some lazy loading or something going on just to prevent it from being an issue. Or no, was it Cadillac? I'm mixing up the sites now. Cadillac was interesting. I'm surprised though. I don't remember seeing anything on there. They would be like, oh yeah, that's why they were so slow. Haas coming in 9th, the first one below a 50. Again, that's really disappointing. Ferrari in 10th with a 33. Oh my goodness. And then Williams. That's bad. 16. I almost feel like you have to try to get a 16. Wow. How did they manage that? There was nothing on that website. Like Ferraris, at least I saw things that would cause it to be slow, and we knew it was going to be like, as soon as you have a loading screen for something, like they're hiding. It's not good. Loading screen is just like, holy crap, our site is slow, let's make it look like something's happening. Williams, geez, I will say Williams this season had like the preseason testing wasn't great. They missed the first shakedown test. They're overweight. There's issues, but they're definitely not the slowest car, I don't think. Though it's not looking fantastic for them. Ferrari, though, again, it's such an easy joke to make that like all flash and then no performance. But anyway, I just realized we didn't look at the updated standings yet. So Red Bull and Alpine pulls into a tie with Red Bull after that last round, and Racing Bulls is right there. It's pretty neck and neck actually at the top here. And then poor old Haas, Williams, McLaren at the back of the pack there. So you can see, Alpine like shooting up into second place there and tied for first, which is crazy. Audi too with a really big marked improvement after that first round. So let's move on to accessibility. So for the accessibility, I'm going to do this run test again. This is using Google's Lighthouse again, because Lighthouse does performance tests and accessibility tests. It will not be used for the CSS tests. And it looks for a bunch of different accessibility things. This is definitely not like the end all be all type of accessibility testing you should be doing on a website, but it will catch a lot of the big things that are like, hey, this is a problem right here. So area attributes, properly using them. I don't know if it flags when you're using them when you shouldn't be or not. So like, it's more about like, this doesn't make sense. You probably should have an area thing here. I don't know enough about it. Leave a comment if you know more information here, actually. Color contrast, that's an easy one, though there's some things they can't test for contrast on, right? If you have gradients or background images and the text is on top, I don't think Google Lighthouse does testing on that. Keyboard accessibility, focus management, this is something that does require some testing as well, manual testing or other tooling that can make sure tab orders make sense, visual tab orders make sense. But this is just making sure that you can do these things. Labels, do they have inputs? All inputs have associated labels. Images with alt text and captions. Page structure, is it using semantic HTML, and does the hierarchy of it make sense? As this is loading in, actually, I want to give a bit of a prediction that we'll have a bit of a mix-up, but probably nothing that's really different from performance. There might be one or two surprises, I think. All right, it just finished. I'm curious. We're going to do this one a little slower. Let's see. Accessibility results. First place, Cadillac. Oh, 100% too. Nice. Curious if any other ones did, but Cadillac coming in. So they were pretty far behind before. So as I said, talk about a surprise. Cadillac getting 100% score on the accessibility test from Google Lighthouse. Not bad. Mercedes, 97. Very nice. Not bad. 94. They're doing much better on accessibility than performance, which I'm a little bit surprised by in a way, but not entirely. I have a feeling we'll have bad ones at the bottom, but you never know. Haas, there we go. Haas with a big improvement as well. This is like neck and neck here at the top. We're starting to drop off as we get into McLaren, and Williams tied for 5th. Audi just out of reach. Aston Martin there at 82, Racing Bulls at 81, and Red Bull Racing and Ferrari in last place. That's two really bad. That's like second to last and then last place for Ferrari. I guess I shouldn't be surprised with the Ferrari one. That weird like embedded PDFs page thing was a bit of a red flag right away. That means the text is not readable. You can't select it. Screen readers can't see it or anything like that. So like if people making the site think that's fine, then there's probably other problems going on as well. And for these, I'm curious because if we come up here, if I click on Cadillac, I can see they passed. They got 0 failed, so that's why it's 100. We're not going to look at all of them. I just want to look at Mercedes, what they failed. Background and foreground colors do not have sufficient contrast ratio on one area, and elements with visible text labels do not have matching accessible names. So this one, again, it's possible that it wasn't an issue. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. This is a very common issue where there's not enough contrast in text, but it's also one of those things that sometimes it fails in areas where you're okay because of some CSS-y stuff you did. But it's definitely worth looking at and being like, oh yeah, this is a problem. Let's just look really fast. Heading elements not in order. This is very common if you're using some sort of CMS. Links without a discernible name. So that could be like if you have a logo that's a link and there's no area label on it or something, so it's just an image. The browser doesn't, like if you have a screen reader or even like the bots that are scraping it, they don't know what your SVG is, right? That's very common And there's no main on the page. It's an interesting one. And let's jump down to we'll do Red Bull first. 5 failed. So we're only getting into 5, which same issue there. Contrast. Button does not have an accessible name. Form elements don't have labels. That's a common problem. That sucks that people don't do that. But you just have a placeholder. You really should have a label. Ferrari had 8 failed tests. And my way that I was breaking down the errors coming in here is also failing now. Area attributes not matching the rules. So they tried using area, but they weren't using it correctly. They disabled zoom, which is a bad thing to do. So that's interesting on something at least. No contrast, again, not no contrast, but not high enough contrast. No, the heading elements aren't sequential. Yeah, a bit of a mess from Ferrari's point of view. Okay, we have to look at the updated standings after the accessibility. Alpine pulls into the lead. Oh my goodness. Mercedes and Cadillac are now tied for second. Racing Bull's in third, very close. Racing Bull's 1 point ahead of the big brother, Red Bull Racing. Audi hanging out in the midfield along with Aston Martin. McLaren struggling a bit, and then the clear backmarkers being Williams, Haas, and Ferrari, who's now fallen directly into last place. Let's look at how things have been panning out. After Ferrari's strong start to the season, things have not gone well. Speaking, I keep picking on Ferrari. I feel bad, but I don't like Ferrari, so I don't mind either. They're not known for developing as the season goes on, or particularly well all the time. Though 2 years ago, they seem to be picking up steam. But anyway, Alpine just launching off, doing super good after, they got into first place after performance even. They were tied originally here and then now pulled into first place. Audi with that win, it was like the wet weather race where like the midfield team or the back marker team gets a win or like a really high point finish and all of a sudden shoots up the standings across all the teams that just haven't been scoring a lot of points. It's sort of like Hulkenberg is with Audi, the surprise podium pulling ahead there. Let's go over now to the final one, the one that I've been looking for. I've mixed up in one. Been looking forward to the most, which is the CSS test, this being a CSS channel. So we're going to hit run and then we'll explain what it's doing. Where for this one, I'm not using the Google Accessibility or Google Lighthouse because it doesn't really, you can do some CSS, what's it called? There's a CSS feature. It's not part of Lighthouse, but you can check stuff for CSS. I forget the name of it right now, but I'm using Project Wallace. Project Wallace, really cool project called Wallace, where it's more about analyzing it, but they do provide code quality scores. And so 0 to 100. And I'm using their scores with a small caveat. So it's going to check for performance. It's going to check for maintainability and for complexity. So for performance here, CSS size, are they using imports? Are there any empty rules? Duplication of rules, embedded content. Maintainability is declarations per line, rule complexity, how many lines of code, and complexity is about selector complexity, the specificity, like if we have lots of varying levels of specificity, it can be harder or it's a more complex project. Are there ID selectors, is important being used, and things like that. And this is the extra thing I added. So it says I'm adding an additional penalty to the performance score for large CSS files because the way Project Wallace works, we're going to see the point breakdowns for everything, but it actually finished. That was a bit faster. So when it does it, it gives, like if you hit, I don't remember what the number is. If you're above a certain number, we're going to see what it is. You get a minus 1 point or whatever, but that's it. Or it's like a minus 4 points for your performance. The problem was it's a pretty low cutoff. And if you're worse, it doesn't continue to penalize you. And I wanted to continue to penalize because I ran this on a few other websites just to get an idea of how it would work. One of them was the FIFA website, which is a disaster. If ever you want to see a disaster of a website, we should do that one against Ferrari and see how things go. And the file sizes were like huge and it was not really penalizing too much. And I'm like, if you have like over a meg of a CSS file, like you should be penalized more than the person who has 100 kilobytes. All right, and the results are in. So let's see how let's see what happened here. We're going to come down here, and the first place team is Audi. Bit of a surprise, I won't lie. I wasn't expecting them to be in first. They didn't have anything too complicated. The page complexity definitely doesn't tell you the whole picture here. We'll look at a little bit of the stats on this as we go through, but we'll go through the standings with a McLaren next. Now, this is where having a templatey page can actually sometimes have a benefit. Again, just because there's very generic things going on. Nobody's doing anything too complicated, so things work out quite well. Cadillac next. Interesting, we haven't seen our front runner yet. Who's next? Racing Bulls coming in fourth, and that's big because Racing Bulls was ahead of Red Bull in the standings. Pretty close, but they were ahead already. So they finished ahead of them, and there they are next. So they will finish one after the other, but a bit of an upset with the little brother usurping the big brother. Alpine coming in sixth. Now, this could have championship impact, right? Because Alpine were in first up until now. But second place team was Mercedes, and we haven't seen them yet. So Mercedes cannot get in first. But will they hold on to second? I don't know. They're coming in next. I'm very curious, actually, if anybody has a chance. I don't remember what the standings look like, so I'm curious if anybody has a chance there. Mercedes coming in next. In a way, I'm surprised we haven't seen someone like Haas. Like I said, McLaren having the templatey website could potentially be a benefit because it's generic. There's nothing weird going on. Haas was super generic, but yet they're not here. Williams coming in next. Theirs is kind of generic too, but less so, I guess. Aston Martin all the way down in ninth. Don't know what they were doing wrong. Haas in 10th, which also, Haas being in 10th means once again we have Ferrari coming all the way down here in last place. Once again, I have to look at 55 score on this. Let's see what they did wrong, which is probably everything. So their file size for a CSS file is 5 megabytes. I was penalizing anything with bonus ones at minus 1 point for 100 kilobytes. So we were capped at minus 20. So they did definitely get that minus 20 on their file size, which probably actually pushed them into last place. But if you have a file size, CSS file that big, you deserve to be in last. Everything else, 2,600 media queries is kind of impressive. So, I mean, I don't know how you manage to get a 5 megabyte file, to be honest, at 126,000 lines. That sort of surprises me. 10,000 comments seems like a lot of comments. So they also had too much embedded content there, which was a lot. Complexity. So it was sort of like a bad CSS file in general that just got killed because it was a giant file size. Whereas Haas, much smaller size, well, a lot less code too, like a tenth of the code. They still managed to get a full meg basically here. But then let's just see if they had anything. I'm just looking for things standing out. Like only 320 media queries, which is a lot, but compared to 2,000. Okay, yeah, just a bad one in general there, I guess, as well. They had 36,000 comments, though. Like both of these feels like there's some sort of minification that's missing from these that they just were not doing. Aston Martin there. Let's just see if there's anything standing out. I think it's just a bad CSS file. I just want to click through. I don't see any major flaws actually in any of these other ones. Coming in, nothing surprising. And actually we're getting average specificity on McLaren's website being below a 10 is kind of impressive. So it means they only had it wouldn't even be Tailwind then, because I was like, Tailwind would generally all be single classes. You'd have an average specificity of 10. So here there's some element selectors and then just all single class selectors. And Audi as well. Like Audi looks like they had like 64 KB there. I mean, you might have less going on your site. That's going to help. But 10 font families is quite a lot of font families. I didn't really pay attention. 26 there. Okay, never mind. 32, 12, 12. That's more normal. Like 4. That's pretty good from Alpine. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. Let's go and take a look here at what the actual standings are after all of that. That's what you care about at this point. Alpine holds on for the win, with Mercedes actually holding on to second and Audi having a valiant push up until third place there. A big push by Audi at the end. Look at that. After a terrible start to the season, the huge push up until there. Racing Bulls, as I said, hanging on over Red Bull. Cadillac hanging on in the midfield. And the other ones all just staying put. No one really wanting to do anything, and Ferrari coming in dead last. So yeah, completely different type of video than I normally do. I'd love to know what you think of this. If you'd like me to compare other sites, we can do all sorts of sports teams from different leagues. Anything else that you can think of, I'd love to dive in. If you enjoyed this, if you didn't, that's completely fine too. Never do it again. I don't mind. I'm asking at the end of the video, which means there's confirmation bias that the people replying will say they like it, but I'll take that. This was fun for me to do, so I have the structure of all this built out, so I might as well do these again in the future. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd actually like to know what you think from my subjective side on what the websites look like, if you agree with that or not. And if there was any that you would have moved around there that could potentially have changed the championship. And I guess with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to my enabler of Awesome Johnny, as well as all my other patrons and channel members for their continued support. And of course, until next time, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.